fully operational? I mean, obviously this is night number 1, but how busy do you see this thing being? You're saying you can switch out every 3 hours, but realistically, I mean, how much content do you see coming out of here?
A lot of content. I mean, the UFC Fight Pass is going to be the absolute destination for fight fans. If you're a fight fan, it's an absolute no-brainer. You got to have it. And we're working on tons of original programming right now. And obviously, it's going to take us time to get this thing going. But the launch, we're going to relaunch this thing in the fall. And once we relaunch, we're going to start banging it out.
Like daily at some point?
Daily, I mean, yeah.
Every day of the year, this place has a fight going
100%, yeah.
Is there an opportunity to grow this sport at the grassroots as well? Because you'll have maybe smaller promotions who want to come to Vegas and put on shows for fans, but they won't be able to afford the big arenas, and you're able to host them here.
100%. That's exactly right. Yeah, we can put on smaller, shows here, and those smaller shows will be streamed live throughout the world.
Is that part of the deal for some of the promotions signed with Fight Passes? Not only do you get to be broadcast around the world, but also you can come here and use it.
So I've actually had my guys go out and start looking at some of these deals, restructuring some of these deals. And again, when we do that, we're going to do a whole, we'll get you guys back out here again when we relaunch Fight Pass. But when you see some of the stuff that we're working on right now, fun. I mean, it's just, I say this, like in my video when you guys came in, we haven't even scratched the surface. I've been saying that to you guys for 10 years. And here we are, 10 years later after the sale with ESPN, streaming globally throughout the world. We haven't scratched the surface of how big this thing's going to be. Not just the sport, the brand, the property here, the list goes on. And part of the fun for me still is continuing to grow this business and take it to new levels. And when we do the Fight Pass launch, walk you through all the fun stuff that we're working on Fight Pass.
In March, you teased some big news. Was this what you were referring to?
What was that?
In March, at one of your post-fight press conferences, you were teasing you had big news in the upcoming months. Was the Apex what you were teasing?
I don't know. Must be. Yeah. I haven't said anything big other than that, so it must have been this, yeah. I think when I said I'm going to show you guys the future of fighting, I was talking about the Apex.
We've seen ESPN Plus and DAZN air some really big boxing fights with just a subscription without the pay-per-view. Is that a business model that UFC would ever move toward with the streaming?
We have.
I mean, just completely. Fight
Pass. Well, we have a deal with ESPN for 7 years. So we're with these guys for 7 years. But yeah, what we're building here is streaming is the future. Some people are resisting. They always do in the beginning, but this is where it's going. I mean, you're going to see. Think about it right now. I have Cox Cable and I have DirecTV. I have both, right? I have 1,000 channels. There's nothing on TV every night when I flip through the channel. I've seen this movie a fucking 1,000 times. I don't like this show. I'm never going to watch Lifetime. You start flipping through these channels, right? And every one of you right now, I guarantee you think about it, there's probably 3 or 4 channels that you go to religiously, and those are the channels that you watch. When streaming comes, right, I got cable and satellite. I don't know what the hell I'm paying for it, but it isn't cheap. It's expensive. Now, you can pick 3 or 4 of your top channels, or 5, and you're paying $5 a month to watch whatever's on there. And you can go in and watch whatever you want, whenever you want. It's the future. That's where it's all going.
To your point, you argue that you're putting big focus on it. That's what my question was. Would you ever move away from the $60 pay-per-view ever?
Move away from the pay? I don't know. I don't know right now.
With a streaming service, do you ever look at the WWE's streaming service where they put all their content on one and they still got a TV show, but do you think that's where we're all going to end up?
I think that's where everything's going, It's going to be interesting to see, when I grew up, you had Channel 3, Channel 5, Channel 8, and Channel 13, and you had the big NBC, CBS, ABC, Fox. This younger generation doesn't even watch those networks. It's going to be interesting to see how this all shakes out over the next, 6, 7, 8 years. Who makes it in streaming and who doesn't. It's like this younger generation now, they're so used to getting what they want when they want it, right? Like, back in my day, some of you are way too young for this, but you know, if you wanted to watch an episode of Chips, you had to be home at 8 o'clock on the night the Chips was on, or you missed that episode, you were never seeing it again. That was it, right? These kids will sit down and knock out a whole season of Game of Thrones, right? And I grew up in that era, and I can't stand watching commercials anymore. When I watch TV now, there's so many fucking commercials, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't even sit through it. I really don't watch much TV anymore. And, you know, all that's going to change when it goes to streaming. Everything's going to change. It's going to be so much faster and easier, and watch exactly what you want when you want to watch it. You don't have to worry about what's on at that time. You can consume whatever you want.
I remember you, like 10, 12 years ago, you would stand in front of us and have a conversation and say, I don't know what it is, but one of these days there's going to be a box and everything's going to get delivered to it, and it's all...
It's true.
What did you know back then, or did you? Because I mean, I don't think anybody saw this as the entire. Did you know, or was that a gamble or an idea?
I knew that as technology continued to grow, there was going to be a day when everybody could watch a fight together at the same time, no matter where in the world you were, what time zone you were in. And when you think about it, and the thing that I always believed about this business is that this would work everywhere. That day would come when technology would catch up and we could do it. And you know, it's like when I talk about the success of the business, you know, every day I hear so much fucking negativity, whether it's on social media or certain media people or whatever. None of that shit matters. You think about how many fight fans there are in the world, right? There's 320 million people in the United States. There's 7 billion people on Earth. What's my ceiling? When you get the right fight in the right place at the right time, we saw with Floyd and Conor. You know, 4.3 million pay-per-view buys, right? Now imagine getting the right fight in the right place, promoting it the right way, with 7 billion people able to stream it worldwide.
Do you have a goal, Dana?
It excites me.
You're the kind of person that like sets pretty specific goals. Do you have a goal in mind of a pay-per-view number that you would want to hit with one fight?
Yeah, well, that's the problem. The problem is I don't know the answer to that. In our structure, in our formed little world that we had here with pay-per-view, and you had in-demand, DirecTV and Dish Network, right? We did 4.3 million pay-per-view buys with Floyd and Conor. Now imagine the world opening up to streaming. If you're in here right now, you could be watching it on your phone, no matter where you are. You know, I always used to battle with these things, and I still do now, where what's distracting you this Saturday? You know, you got to take the wife out on Saturday. She's pissed off because you've been working too hard all week. You got to take her out to dinner on Saturday. Or the new Avengers movie comes out that does $2 billion, you know, the first week it opens. And the list goes on and on. These are the things that I battle with. The NBA playoffs were happening, you know, and the list goes on and on. With streaming, you can, if you can pull this off, you can take your wife to dinner and watch the fight at the same time. Try not to get killed, but you know, these are things that can happen now with streaming. People that were in situations that had to, you know, your kid has a baseball game on Saturday and you're at the, you know, the place watching your kid play baseball. You can actually get the fight on your phone. You can still do it. So, like I say, right fight, right place, right time, promoted the right way, and the ability to watch it anywhere. What is the ceiling? What is the ceiling? I love the possibilities of that. I love the fact that we can do this now. And as we continue to build Fight Pass and ESPN Plus, and you know, grow this business. Look at what we're doing right now. Wait till ESPN. I mean, I've said this to you guys ad nauseum now. I keep saying it. 5-6 months we've been in business with these guys. Our business has gone like this. I can tell you on every level how our business has grown in just 6 months with these guys, right? Wait till they really get it together. And these guys are the best to ever do it for a reason. They're fucking good and they're really smart and they are always pushing the envelope. You know, when this all, you think ESPN, they have our US rights right now. You know they're going to go into all these different countries with streaming. ESPN's going to be available all over the world. And this thing's just going to grow and get bigger and bigger. We are 100% aligned with them. Believe in their vision. It's the same vision that we have, like you said, I had 10, 12 years ago. And now we're here. We have the money to do it. We have the the manpower to do it. We have tons of great, smart people that work with us, and we are completely aligned with the biggest, baddest sports network on the planet. So, I mean, I don't know how else I could articulate to you what I want to do and how fucking massive this is going to be.
Yeah. And what kind of business do you have in mind for places like Brazil that we don't have pay-per-view there, or even ESPN, we have global there?
Well, you got Combate. The fights are on Combate. And, you know, I think you're going to see, listen, the whole world is going to have to conform. It's going to all go to streaming. I mean, look at Netflix. Netflix is everywhere. Netflix is in Brazil. And a lot of people have Netflix in Brazil. Netflix is very big in Brazil. No different than what we're doing here. You know, it's just going to take a little time and a lot of work and a lot of education. It's no different than what we did when we started. I mean, when we started this business, I literally flew around the country talking to sports editors, flew around the world talking to different networks, educating them about the UFC and all this other stuff. All that hard work is done. Now it's just about the next step up with technology and how to download the app and how to do this and, you know, put it on your smart TV and all this stuff. But it's the future. I remember when we were talking about HD. Oh, HD's coming, and you know, we would do an HD pay-per-view or an SD pay-per-view, and most of them were all SD, and we'd do a little percentage in pay-per-view, and it was $10 more or whatever. Then over time, it all became HD, and SD went away. Same thing's going to happen here.
I have a question about the contender. Like with that fight that was canceled yesterday, you know, are you guys planning on have like 6 fights or that fight rebooked?
No. That fight's gone.
And the other question was, we have a lot of Brazilians in this third season of the contender, you know. Does that mean that you won't have like a Brazilian season?
I could do 9 seasons straight of the contender in Brazil and have talent. You know, I mean, when you look at Brazil, it's the most talent-rich country on the planet when it comes to MMA, other than the United States.
You're talking about the stuff you're going to put on Fight Pass and events you're going to hold here. Does that mean there's an opportunity for retired fighters to find jobs as pundits or for other promotions, stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at our sport and how many of these guys have, you know, the talent and the ability to you know, they're very articulate and they're very good at breaking. I mean, so many people are working now that used to be fighters here. I would say more than in any other sport. In baseball, you'll get a couple of guys that become analysts and things like that. But, you know, I'd have to say, pound for pound, we have more people working with us than any other sport.
Dana, you just recently signed a 10-year extension.
7-year deal. I keep seeing the 10-year thing.
Okay,
7-year
so
deal.
7 year.
Yeah.
So did you ever think that you'd still be in the game and have that desire to keep going?
I can't imagine being out of the game. I mean, I love this so much, and I'm still 49 years old for another month. I'm going to be 50 here pretty soon, and I'm dreading it. But yeah, I don't know what else I would do. This is what I love to do, and at the end of the day, you know, I've been the vision for this thing for the last almost 20 years, and I'm not done yet. There's so much more to do. I don't know. I can't see a day where I say, all right, I've had enough, but who knows?
So do you have a black book where you have goals of like 7 years down? What do you want to accomplish?
Yeah, I mean, ever since we bought the company, we've always had 5-year plans. You know, what are we going to do over the next 5 years? What are we going to be doing 5 years from now? And yeah, I'm still doing that. I mean, obviously, if you look at the Apex, and like I told you, there's a master plan for this facility to grow and get bigger. We're looking at, you know, these PIs that we're going to build in all these different countries, and just continue. If you look at a PI, right, and what we're looking to do, we're going to pull people in, and they're going to start training and learning about the sport at a very young age, right? Not everybody's going to become a fighter. Some of those people will learn and will leave and become trainers, and teach striking or jiu-jitsu or whatever it might be, or mixed martial arts. They'll go open a school somewhere. And you know, when you build something like this, everybody who leaves that facility leaves with a skill, you know, and will go out and teach more people and educate more people, and more importantly, become a fan. So it really is instrumental in helping build the sport throughout the rest of the world.
Is going public part of that goal of expanding?
Going public has never been a goal of mine. You know what I mean? That's, you know, we're in a much bigger machine now than we were 3.5, 4 years ago. And you guys have heard me many times speak very negatively about going public. But to be honest with you, in this type of situation with Ari deals with all that stuff. So I literally don't have to deal with any of that. You know, I can't tell you more today than I would like to. You know me, I'm a big mouth. I'd love to tell you everything that's going on right now, but I can't. But when the time is right, we will. And the thing that I love about this whole situation is whenever I come up with an idea and I want to do it, Ari will get the money.
Will, what do you see the apex of what you can contribute with the sport as you're in it? What do you want to reach? You want to take it to the Olympics? Do you want to, what is it that where you want to see it?
Yeah, I think the Olympics is a no-brainer. I mean, I think that should have happened a long time ago. Not one of my big goals, never been a huge goal of mine. That's somebody else's, let them deal with that. And I dealt with amateur boxing for a very long time, and I wasn't a big fan. I just want to continue to build the sport. I made a statement almost 20 years ago where I said this would be the biggest sport in the world. And I truly believe that, and I believe that it can be. And that's my goal, to keep building this thing around the world in all these different countries. You know, see how big we can get this thing.
So when you first purchased the UFC with Adidas, let's say that was creating a sport, it was turning fights into a sport. Is this era of performance institutes refining it, making it as mainstream as you can get it?
Yeah, I think that, you know, well, the Performance Institute is something that goes along with building, you know, that, and which was Lorenzo's baby. The Performance Institute was Lorenzo. We'd have all these injuries happening and all these things, and Lorenzo's like, how do we figure out how to prevent the unpreventable? You know what I mean? How do we fix things that can't be fixed? You build a PI, you educate these guys on how to eat, how to train, strength and conditioning, you know, all these different things. And he sent a team out to go find the best facilities in the world. Not the country, in the world. He sent these guys everywhere. And they came back with a bunch of notes and, you know, what they thought we should do, and we built the PI. And it was fucking brilliant. I mean, look at this thing now, and look at how big it is. That was 100% Lorenzo's baby. And it was time that had to happen. I'll give you an example. Tom Brady, right? If Tom Brady gets hurt, what we used to do was, oh, this guy's hurt. Send him to a doctor. Call us when you're ready, right? They don't do that to Tom Brady. They're overseeing that he has the best physical therapist working with him and making sure that he's, you know, and this sport had never seen anything like that before. It wasn't structured that way. So he felt that was a good way to take care of the athletes, prevent more injuries, you know, et cetera, et cetera. Same thing with the brain testing stuff that we do. We do all this brain study and spend millions of dollars, you know, making sure that we're on top of all the latest, you know, things about brain injury. And it's just all about how do you keep elevating the sport.
Dana, you mentioned of amateur boxing, the issues you've had, how things are run. You mentioned MMA as well as far as the amateur leagues. Will there be any involvement as far as the Apex, as far as hosting or working with any kind of...
I'm working on an amateur fight right now. I'm going to do an amateur boxing event here in the next couple of months. Working out all the details right now, and I'm going to try to bring in some of the best amateur fighters in the world, and my son.
Your son's going to box?
Yeah. My son has been boxing, but he's going to fight. Yeah, he fought last year in Boston, and he's going to fight here at the Apex this summer.
No pressure.
Huh?
No pressure at all?
I don't know. None for me.
How do you feel about that as a parent?
I love it. Listen, anybody that's ever been involved in fighting will tell you all the great things that it's done for you. Listen, there's some very sad stories in the fight game too, but there's sad stories in every game. There's sad stories in baseball. There's sad stories in football. But I would never deny my kids, what they love to do. My oldest son loves to play football. What's more dangerous than football? Nothing. Football's crazy dangerous. But he loves it. And he's passionate about it. And gets him out of bed in the morning, man. And that's what life is really all about.
So why didn't your son pick MMA since his father's in MMA?
I don't know. But I'm not that dad. You're not boxing. You're going to fight in them, You're going to, listen, if they told me they want a finger paint, I'm supporting them. I'm behind them, and I'll be the biggest finger painting fan ever. So it's totally up to them. I'm just here to support.
So in amateur boxing, a lot of promoters will go to the Olympics and kind of scout out talent. Are you going to be one of those guys now?
I think that right now, where my head is, I want to be the guy that showcases the talent. I want to bring these talented guys in. In a perfect world, not saying that I can pull this off, we bring in all the top guys in the country that are amateurs right now, put on some fights with them. I promote it, I air it on Fight Pass, and get these guys more exposure than they've ever had.
So then the promoters will come here to watch it.
Yeah, I'm not looking. See, I'm looking, again, the things that we do, when we build the PI and we start, creating this talent, doing all these different things, everybody benefits from this, not just the UFC. Everybody benefits. The tide rises. Now, if I can do this in amateur boxing, and I'm working on creating relationships with all the promoters in boxing, I don't know how we're all going to work together yet, but we'll figure that out. And and if I can elevate some of these amateurs and help create some stars in boxing, I'm all about it. Not saying I'm going to put on an amateur fight here, every one of them has to sign a deal with me, and I'm going to lock them up, and it's not what I'm looking to do.
With one of the most obvious sort of business relationships you could have would be with someone like Eddie Hearn, who his fighters are known in the UK but not over here. You have the platform to make him a bigger star in America, which he wouldn't.
I'd say I have the platform to make them bigger stars on the whole planet. I mean, if you look at our reach and this machine that we've built, this is a global machine. This isn't a United States machine. This isn't a UK machine. This is a global machine. I mean, the fights, I'm going to put on a fight this fall in Australia that's going to blow the fucking doors off that country, okay? And it's going to be a massive event over there. And what's crazy is this massive event that's going to happen in Australia, people in the UK are going to watch it. People in Europe are going to watch it. People in the United States, Canada, Brazil, the world will watch this fight.
Can we just confirm?
I'm talking about Israel Adesanya, and of course, and Robert Whittaker. I mean, the world will watch that fight from Australia, which will be a massive event there. We're not a U.S. promoter. We're a global promoter.